Welcome back to this TV Studio 4. My name is Beatriz Rios, and we're going to jump straight away into our next session, which is called Healthy Nature for a Good Climate. We're going to be talking about the need to preserve biodiversity in Latin America and the Caribbean, and what are the main priorities that a report conducted by the European Commission identified in the area and how to tackle them. But before we jump into the conversation, let's watch this video, Larger Than Jaguars.
Latin America and the Caribbean is home to more than half the world's biodiversity. But nature's powerhouse is under pressure, and so are we. From the city to the village, from the coast to the forest, healthy ecosystems are essential for us all. Whether we work in an office, factory, or farm. The bad news is that the biodiversity crisis will hold back our economic and social development, with millions facing increased food, water, and climate insecurity. But the good news is that national and local governments, indigenous peoples, civil society, and the private sector are already working on the solutions. From all over the region, a dynamic and diverse community is sharing a wealth of experience and good practices. A new EU report, Larger Than Jaguars, shows that well-managed ecosystems, nature-based solutions, and intact forests and habitats boost economies, climate resilience, and well-being. The study identifies more than 100 key landscapes for conservation in 5 distinct regions and sets out 6 priority action areas. Taken together, this ambitious strategy is a blueprint for both nature and people. Key conservation landscapes are not necessarily pristine or protected areas. They also include productive zones, urban areas, and infrastructure, where conservation goes hand in hand with sustainable development. The 6 priority action areas allow flexibility to take account of local needs. They cover conservation and restoration, sustainable production and trade, environmental management, and environmental governance, knowledge management and awareness raising, and public policies and environmental planning. Larger Than Jaguars covers 5 regions: Central America and the Caribbean, the Andes and Pacific, Amazonia and Orinoco, South American lowlands, and southern ecosystems. The study will guide sustainable political, economic, and social actions and investments in all 5 regions. In turn, these will help achieve the sustainable development goals so vital for nature and people. The EU is taking action in Europe and across its global supply chains, working with partners to manage habitats and landscapes sustainably, and supporting local communities and businesses to protect biodiversity. With strong partnerships, common values, and shared interests, we can achieve so much more.
Very positive message coming from this video about the need to make sure that we restore ecosystem, protect biodiversity, and boost natural-based solutions to make sure that we have a sustainable economy, but that we also fight climate change. To dig a little bit deeper into these conclusions, I'd like to welcome to our panel today Thora AMEND. She is the Vice Chair for Governance of the WCPA. You have the floor. Looking forward to listen to your presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Beatriz, and it's really a pleasure to be here with you in the studio. What we would like to do is to take you along to highlight some of the concrete actions that need to take place, not only in Latin America, but in the rest of the world. But I would like to highlight the study that we've just seen, larger than Jaguars, in Latin America, with concrete examples provided by the program EUROCLIMA. Can we please see the slides? Okay, so what we see here is a map of where does EUROCLIMA is, where do we have activities. EUROCLIMA, just a few words on that, is a flagship program of the EU to strengthen cooperation for environmental agendas and for climate change. So it aims to help the expressed needs of our partner countries in Latin America and to work with mitigation, adaptation to climate change, to enhance the resilience and to support financing the investments or to encourage investments in that. So the map that we see there focuses or highlights the 9 projects that one of the 6 thematic areas of EUROCLIMA is attending, and that is the area of forests, biodiversities and ecosystems, and that relates directly to the report that was just launched or the video clip that was just launched that we saw. Next slide, please. So I want to take you along and to see into, to look into what are the 6 priorities that the video just mentioned and highlight one project initiative within the context of EUROCLIMA and the thematic area. So the first one was conservation and restoration. What can we do there? What we have chosen as an example is the creation of a binational corridor in Honduras and Guatemala, and that is a protected area that is transboundary. And what we see as a quote there is the convincing statement that community development really depends on conservation, protection, and restoration of protected areas, and that is the best way to fight against climate change. Next, please. Second priority area is sustainable production, highlighted in the video clip. And there the example we chose is living and producing in the Chaco forest. So taking you way down south in Latin America, Argentina, Bolivia, and Paraguay. And they try to work together with the local communities on forest management and restoration as part of productive environments. So no longer talking about protected areas, categories that exclude humans, but working directly with livestock breeders and others. The third element, next slide please, looks into environmental management in urban and peri-urban environments. And the example there that we chose of EUROCLIMA projects is a project that looks into riverine restoration for flood control in peri-urban regions, and that is in Mexico. But they also work in Brazil, the partner program there, and they try to coordinate global agendas, having gained experiences on the local level. So what can we learn from the local approaches and feed that up into global agendas and the negotiation processes on that? The next one, the fourth element, looks into environmental governance. And there we need transparency in the management of data for restoration in this case. And the example is from Honduras. And land use governance and management are really important factors to address the causes of forest loss and forest degradation. And apart from that, in the context of climate change, we also need to look into carbon stocks and how can we mitigate or reduce CO2 emissions. So there, the combination is of mitigation and of agroforestry schemes that help ensure food security there. And the project works together with local communities to enhance or to achieve a coexistence between human beings and the forest, as the other projects also do. Let's look into the fifth element mentioned in the film, and that is in the video, and that is about knowledge management and awareness creation. So if we want to take along people, we need to build capacity. And in that case, we have a very interesting and challenging project in Panama and Bolivia, where we try to enhance...
Thora, to go a little bit quicker because we're already over time. So please, if you can finish your presentation in just 1 minute, that'd be great.
Yes, absolutely. We are almost done. So that looks into non-carbon benefits in climate change strategies. So leaving the trees in the forest and just trying to create benefits with the local population for their development. And the last slide, please. The sixth priority area is to look into public policies and environmental planning. So that is a fascinating project called Water Sowing and Harvesting, and it enhances ancestral knowledge generated in the Andes of Peru, and they are being transferred to Costa Rica to help them create those reservoirs of water for the local population. But on the other side, we have the South-South Learning and Cooperation Framework. So Costa Rica transfers knowledge on public fees, creating of water fees, and that helps Peru in their public policies. And thank you. The last slide is just to appreciate your
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Indeed, we love it when you move from philosophical presentations to concrete projects that are actually helping people in the field. Thank you so much for that. Now we're going to move into the next section, indeed, here in TV Studio 4. And for that, I would like to welcome the discussion that we're going to have about adaptive social protection in the development agenda. We have to combine both climate action and climate adaptation with social protection, indeed, because the impact of climate change is also very important for vulnerable communities. I don't want to take much of your time because we're a little bit late, and I would like to hand over straight away the floor to the moderator, Con Blemix.
The moderator seems not to be there.
Okay. I think we are going to be a little bit late for that session as well. I would like to recall you that we're going to have a panel session in a few minutes where we're going to be talking about the need to ensure social protection for the communities that are the most affected by climate change, and therefore the social protection needs to go hand in hand with climate adaptation, because as we know, the effects of climate change have been particularly harsh on the vulnerable communities all across the world, and this needs to be part of the development agenda of the European Union when when collaborating with countries, because indeed we need to reduce the risks, but we also need to make sure that those policies adapt to the local context, because the impact is extremely high. So we need to have a lot of action on the side of those third countries when they're addressing these issues. I'm going to go back to what we have been discussing today, what we wait for that session to be ready. Stay with us. We're going to be with you in just a minute. I'm very sorry for these difficulties that we are experiencing. You know, like sometimes organizing events at technical level, it's very hard, but we're ready for you. We're gonna jump straight away into that session, Adaptive Social Protection in the Development Agenda. I wanna give the floor straight away to Con Blemix.